Hi readers, welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper. I'm Lori and I'm happy that you're here today to join me in announcing my Reading Rush TBR for 2020. Reading Rush is a readathon that happens every year, and I did participate last year, and I participated in a lot of readathons last year and felt like I was rushing through, no pun intended, a lot of books in order to complete the readathon prompts, and that I wanted to savor books a little bit more this year. So I have been doing a good job of that. And I'm also kind of in the mood for a structured TBR to kind of keep me and get me back into a daily habit of reading. I've been kind of out of that habit, and I think it's due to a lot of things, but I would like to kind of strengthen my reading habit again, get back to the space where I was. Even if I'm only reading for 15 to 30 minutes a day, I'd like to kind of get back in that rhythm. So that's why I've decided to go ahead and participate this year. The Reading Rush is a readathon sponsored by Ariel and Raelynn, and I will link their channels below, as well as the video that announces the Reading Rush with the prompts, and the list of them will also be in the description box on that video, as well as my description box below. So you'll be able to check out the prompts. There's also a website. I think it's thereadingrush.com. So you'll be able to see what they have there and participate a little bit throughout. There are some Instagram challenges and different things, some prizes, and if you link your TBR video, if you have a BookTube channel, you can be entered into a giveaway to win one of the prizes that they're offering from Penguin Books, I think. And just in general, you can share what you're reading with others and see what they're reading and learn from their picks what you might want to take a look at. So it's just a fun group kind of project, and they also have merchandise. So if that's something you're interested in, you can check that out at their website too. So they'll tell you all about that. I'm going to tell you all about what I'm going to focus on for next week, which is the week of the 20th through the 26th. So the Reading Rush, July 20 to 26th, starts for me next week. When you're watching this, I don't know when it will begin, but let's get started. So the first prompt is read a book with a cover that matches the color of your birthstone. My birthstone is Sapphire. I was born in September. So the book I'm choosing for that prompt is The Good Daughter by Alexander Bert. You may have heard me say in my July TBR that I might save this for the Reading Rush TBR, and indeed I am going to do that. My Sapphire book cover is blue for certain, and this is a great thriller for me. It's a book I got in the Advent book exchange from my daughter Megan. It's about a girl who goes back to Texas to understand her past, and she has a lot of questions and discovers a lot of things about her mother that she didn't know, and I think that those maybe are things that will entangle her into a mystery or a suspenseful kind of situation. Yeah, it has some good recommendations, and it's, again, kind of something that's been calling to me, and thrillers lately are really good for me to get complete through because they're usually pretty fast. So I'm really reading a lot of thrillers lately, and mysteries and romance, because I'm able to focus on those, I guess, a little bit better than some of the other stuff that I would normally read. The next prompt is read a book that starts with the word the, which that prompt would also, that book would also serve that prompt, but I did choose another one. It's been on my TBR for a long time, and I've owned it a long time, and that is The Four Mrs. Bradwells by Meg Waite Clayton. This is one of her novels that I've never read, and I'd like to at one point say I've read everything that she's written. She's been on my mind lately because I finished The Last Train to London, and I hauled two of her novels that I've really adored. So The Four Mrs. Bradwell has been out for a bit. 2011 it was written, and it follows four women, much like some of her other novels. It follows Mia, Lainey, Betts, and Ginger. They've been friends since law school, and Betts is awaiting her confirmation to the Supreme Court. And as they are investigating her for that confirmation, some information comes up And I think they all go away to talk about some things from their past and to just support her. And it sounds a bit intriguing and a sort of a sisterhood novel too. And Meg Waite Clayton is very good at developing characters in that way. And it's not long, so it wouldn't be a terribly difficult read, I wouldn't think. 300 and some pages, just over 300 pages. So yeah, I'm going to try to get to that. We'll see how I do. Prompt number 3 is read a book that inspired a movie you've already seen. So this book is one that has 3 novels in it. I've read one and I kind of want to get to the others. So I'm not sure. I think I'm going to read Mildred Pierce because I have seen that miniseries that is on HBO. However, Double Indemnity is shorter. So if I can get my hands on Double Indemnity between now and when I start this, I might read that. Double Indemnity is a murder mystery, and it intrigues me more than Mildred Pierce right now, to be honest, because I just finished 8 Perfect Strangers last month, and Double Indemnity was one of the books that he had put on his perfect murder list. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and rent Double Indemnity. Let's just be clear. I'm going to do that because it really is short. And Mildred Pierce really is not. Mildred Pierce is the longest novel in this series of novels in this edition. So Double Indemnity it is. And again, I'm not going to say a whole lot about it. It's a film noir kind of novel, which most of his are. Mildred Pierce is also good, though, if you're looking for a recommendation to watch or read. I've never read it, but it's a book about a woman who's in a situation where she's divorced, as I recall, and she builds a business empire. And the time it was set was pretty unusual. And she was pretty strong and business savvy, and I like it a lot. Prompt number 4 was interesting. It was read the first book you touch. And I kept sort of pondering, as I was thinking about this for the last week or two, how I was going to do that. Was I going to blindfold myself and reach out? Was I going to put a stack out and just pick? But what happened was I ended up going on Scribd to look for something the other day. And when I opened Scribd up, the very first book at the top of the list of recommended books for me was The Shadows by Alex North. And that's a new release, and it's one that I've been intrigued about and I've been looking forward to. So that is sort of the first book that I touched in that moment. And so that is what's going to fulfill this prompt. And I will be listening to that. So The Shadows by Alex North is about a boy, a teenager, who was in a group of friends and kind of always on the fringes. And everybody kind of thought that he was capable of doing something kind of awful. And 25 years later, he does. He kills one of them, and somehow they all come together, I think, within this murder. Of course, I don't want to know too much about it because I don't want to be spoiled by it, but I heard it's pretty creepy. And I've kind of wanted to read this and The Whisper Man, which was published last year. Both of those are intriguing to me, so I'm going to pick up this one on Scribd and listen to it. It should be a fast listen. The next prompt, number 5, is read a book completely outside of your house. Now, this is a challenge during COVID. I don't go anywhere, really. So I now and again get in the car to drive somewhere, but not very often. So I'll maybe, this one's I'm going to listen to as well, and maybe listen to it in the garden or on the front porch or something like that, or there's some guidance around that Ariel and Raelynn have come up with that might help you kind of understand how that might work. But nevertheless, I'm going to listen to The Other People by C.J. Tudor, which I actually have already started and just didn't get back to. I own it on Libro.fm, and it is a thriller kind of mystery, maybe a little paranormal. I've kind of just started it, but it follows a man who is in a traffic jam on the way home to work, and he's late getting home to his family, and he's feeling guilty about that. And he sees a car ahead of him with a bumper sticker on it, and there's a child looking out of the back window, and she looks at him and he realizes it's his daughter, and she says something like, "Help me, help." And then he discovers that she's missing, and he's on a quest then to find out what happened to her. And it's a multiple character perspective so far, and I like it. I just, again, haven't gotten back to it. So that'll be, if I get to that one, that'll be prompt number 5 fulfilled, and that'll be 2 audiobooks this month or this week for me in this readathon, which is reasonable, I would say. Prompt number 6 is read a book in a genre you've always wanted to read more of, and I am going to pick up Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. This is a graphic novel that I also got in the Advent Book Exchange, and it's intriguing to me, so I would like to get to this. I've not read a graphic novel before. I watch a lot of booktubers who do read graphic novels, and I'm just stunned by the depth and breadth of them. So I think I need to kind of pay attention to them more. So this one is a memoir of Marjane growing up in Iran during the Islamic Revolution. And she tells the story of her life from ages 6 to 14, which was during the time that the Shah was overthrown. Pretty deep graphic novel. The other graphic novel I remember reading was Fun Home by Alison Bechdel, and that was a long time ago, and until just now I kind of forgotten that I had read that, but that was actually turned into a Broadway show that I've also seen, so that was a great piece of work, but that was also a memoir. So Persepolis, the story of a childhood, is going to fulfill prompt 5. And because it's short and it's a graphic novel, my sense is it will go quickly. And then the last prompt is read a book that takes place on a different continent than where you live. And again, I'm going to add something that was already on my TBR, but I realized it would work. And that's The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. It is set in Barcelona, I'm pretty sure, or at least part of it is, and it follows the son of a bookseller who discovers a book and he loves it, and he goes to look for more books by the author and finds out that they've all been destroyed. It's a bit of a mystery. It says it's an epic story of murder, madness, and doomed love. There's a series of books written by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. They get really good ratings. And I've always wanted to complete this. I started it a while ago. I didn't finish it. I'm going to have to go back to the beginning. But it's something I've wanted to pay more attention to recently, and I think now is the time. We shall see, though, if it gets read in that week. So 7 prompts, 7 books, 2 audio, 5 in physical copy, and I am pretty happy with that. And again, my expectation is not that I will read all 7. My expectation is that I will enjoy them, that I'll try to read a book a day. And again, that seems, even saying it out loud seems very unrealistic. But you never know. I finished 2 books in one day the other day. I guess when I really get diligent about it, things do happen. Meanwhile, I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing now until Monday. And I'm trying to read this week some things that I could finish before the end of the week so that I won't have a carry through that, gets kind of put aside. That's the challenge with readathons. You kind of drop everything to read your TBR for that week, and you have to do other things. And so, yeah, we'll see how far I get. I usually get 2 or 3 done in a week. So I'll feel good if I'm able to do that. So I can't wait to hear if you're participating in the Reading Rush and what's on your TBR. And if you're not, what would you read in those prompts? It doesn't have to be something for all 7, but I'm curious when I said those prompts, what came to mind is something that you would want to put on the list. And I'll kind of maybe see you around on Instagram or on Facebook or other places that tag Reading Rush if you're participating, so I can kind of see what progress you're making, and you'll be able to see the progress that I'm making as well. Thanks so much for your subscription, your commitment to my channel, to your support through comments and other ways of really sharing and supporting this. I appreciate all of you so much. I do love doing this. Sometimes it's a challenge to find time to film and post videos, but when I do, I enjoy it very, very much. So I hope you have a fantastic reading rush, and I hope you have a great, happy reading day. Bye.